To seize this moment, we have to use technology to open up our democracy.
Let me ask a very simple question. Does it concern you that the government is spying on you?
They're not doing anything wrong, and they have nothing to hide, and they're not terrorists.
What's your Facebook password?
I'm not going to give you my Facebook password.
What's your bank account number?
Oh, gotcha. Yeah, say.
No. What did you search last night on Google?
I don't like this interview.
Si tu n'as rien à cacher, alors on pourrait mettre une caméra dans ta chambre à coucher et dans ta salle de bain et en publier les images sur Internet. Ou alors si tu n'as rien à cacher, on peut prendre ton login et ton mot de passe sur Facebook ou sur Google, les publier et que chacun puisse aller fouiller dedans.
And it is also the case that I want to have a world where everyone has privacy and thus dignity, confidentiality, and integrity in their daily lives without having to ask for it, to beg it from a master. Because it is the case that when you ask someone for those things, they may not grant them. And then you will know you are not free.
Does the NSA routinely intercept American citizens' emails?
No.
Does the NSA intercept Americans' cell phone conversations?
No.
Google searches?
No.
Text messages?
No.
Amazon.com orders?
No.
Bank records?
No.
I give you the surveillance state, ladies and generals.
Director Clapper, does the NSA collect data on hundreds of millions of Americans?
No, sir.
It does not.
Not wittingly.
Oh, hi, hey, hey, son of a bitch from the NSA. Hi-ho, hey, hey, fuck the guy from the NSA.
Guten Morgen NSA, ich bin ein Insider. Doch ihr seht mir alle zu, das bedeutet wohl, ich bin keiner. Ihr lest mein Tagebuch, sie wissen jetzt so einiges. Es ist interessant, besonders wenn es ein Geheimnis ist. Sie wissen, ob du pleite bist, sie wissen, ob du Scheine machst. Ohne Papier kommst du nicht raus. Reisepass, treff den Typ von WikiLeaks und lege eine Beichte ab. Und dann werde ich verurteilt von dem Land, das ich verteidigt habe.
NSA and the intelligence community in general is focused on getting intelligence wherever it can, by any means possible, that it believes on the grounds of sort of a self-certification that they serve the national interest.
Du weißt, wir überwachen jeden von hier oben. Wir kriegen alles mit, bist du einmal ungezogen. Mann, wir hängen dir in den Ohren, riechen Kaviar oder Trüffel. Es gibt etliche Methoden, die Daten zu entschlüsseln.
The NSA specifically targets the communications of everyone. It ingests them by default. It collects them in its system, and it filters them, and it analyzes them, and it measures them, and it stores them for periods of time, simply because that's the easiest, most efficient, and most valuable way to achieve these ends.
Ooh, we're all wiretapped now. We're all being fed lies. Not long till we get on the red sound.
Lange hatten die Opfer der NSA kein Gesicht. Aber dieses geheime Dokument der NSA kann das ändern. Denn darin findet sich die IP-Adresse des Studenten Sebastian Hahn.
Es ist meine Server gelistet in diese Liste von Internetadressen. Das ist ein bisschen schockierend.
You don't have to have done anything wrong. You simply have to eventually fall under suspicion from somebody, even by a wrong call. And then they can use the system to go back in time and scrutinize every decision you've ever made, every friend you've ever discussed something with, and attack you on that basis to sort of derive suspicion from an innocent life and paint anyone in the context of a wrongdoer.
I feel like I'm home on my own.
These revelations, the ones that we published thus far and the ones that we'll continue to be publishing in the future, what they really illustrate is exactly what you said, which is that they don't call it total information awareness anymore. That was a little bit too honest of a term. That was probably the main reason why it created such uproar, because it was just too nakedly clear what it was intending to accomplish. But what the NSA is doing, not just domestically but globally, is creating a total information awareness system. The last story that we
William worked for the US government for 32 years. He was responsible for electronic espionage. A decade ago,
When the authorities began to bug US citizens, he left the service. The fight against terrorism seemed to change the rules of engagement overnight.
I mean, there virtually is nothing in the network that they can't have a copy of. If they start targeting you, so what? They already have your data. I can't find out what they're doing with my data. But I know they have it, okay. So I make sure I write in there whatever I have to say about them, I say that in there, so that when they collect it, they know what I'm thinking of them. So,
The question is not, do you have something to hide? The question is whether we control government or the government controls us.
So what can people do? First, they can declare themselves to be free. And secondly, they can declare it by using strong encryption when they use telephones, by talking to journalists about the things that they experience, by actually taking steps to defund organizations that fundamentally violate the Grundgesetz, that reinterpret the G10 privacy laws, that are criminal in nature.
Sorry to interrupt, but we're picking up a signal from beyond the space-time continuum. Quick, switch on the juice channeling portal. Wait, is that George Orwell?
Good day to you.
Wow, what do we owe this honor to?
I tried to warn you noobs, but I see you are actually fools, or else you thought this was an instruction manual.
Yes, so can you advise us? What would you have us do? An open and universal internet is the most effective tool you have to address the issues that afflict the world at hand. Therefore, protecting it is the most essential task that stands before your generation. I think I understand.
Hush, man! You must not lose the internet. Heed this mantra. Who controls the internet controls the data. And who controls the data controls the future.
We're losing you.
I leave you with a tool to use. An onion? Don't be simple, Robert. This is but a simile. It stands for Tor.
Tor?
Google it. It's for anonymity. This onion router open network helps considerably against tyranny, but its abilities only work if all you use it consistently. And even if you don't use it, run it so its force swells.
Thanks, Mr. Orwell.
From now on, call me George Torwell. If we'd had such tools when I wrote this, well, it would have been so much simpler to tell Big Brother to go f*** himself.
For example, who here is a biologist? Raise your hand if you're a biologist. Anyone? Not one person.
There's
Great.
One
person, great. Now raise your hand if you feel you have mastered the ability to reduce your risk about having safe sex, like in terms of reducing the threat that sex can pose. Right? Who here has ever functionally and properly used a condom?
It's okay. Don't be embarrassed.
Okay, yeah, well, you should be. You should be embarrassed. The people that didn't raise your hands, in particular, that's a weird thing. I don't really know what to say to you. But the people that raise your hand, you'll know
We've
that there was...
just got a very innocent audience here, that's all.
Did you raise your hand both times, biologist? Okay, good. So what we know is that we can learn something here, which is that the biologist both understands how to protect himself, and he also understands what it is, in a technical sense, in a scientific sense, what it is he's protecting himself from, and so on. And everybody else that raised their hand doesn't self-identify as an expert, and yet you probably have great sex in a protected manner that reduces your risk. We should be able to accomplish this with cryptography, with encryption. We should be able to understand that we have an epidemic of surveillance and that we need to practice harm reduction strategies with cultural norms that promote it. If you want to connect to me, you have to do it safely.
You're the light that the world's demanding. Make it bright and make things clear. We're not gonna sit in darkness. We're not gonna live with fear.
Nothing to hide.
Agencies against we the people. Don't stoop, don't grovel to no government's deep. We can force anybody to make a new choice when we build a movement, each raising a voice. Build a movement by raising your voice. Build a movement by raising your voice.
Verschlüsseln.
Ja.
Sofort.
CryptoParty.
Krypto.